important to learn to be able to multiply and divide with the correct number of sig figs, because this type of math constitutes about 90% of the math that we'll do in this class. So it's really important, and you'll want to learn how to do it. So when you're multiplying and dividing with sig figs, the first step is to count the number of sig figs in each factor. Then you'll want to determine the number that has the least number of sig figs. So whichever factor has the smaller number of sig figs is your least, what we'll call your least accurate number. Then you can perform your mathematical operation, whether that's multiplying or dividing. And lastly, you can take the answer that you get from the mathematical operation and round it to the number of sig figs with that's the same as the factor with the least number of sig figs. Let me show you what I mean. For example, if you have, we'll start with a deceptively easy question. So if we have 11 times 2, this is equal to 22, right? But we want to check this for sig figs. So the first step is determine the number of sig figs in each factor. For this 11, both of these are significant, so this will have 2 significant figures. For 2, there's only one number, and it is significant. That gives it 1. So this 2 is the least accurate. It has the least number of sig figs. That means we need to round our answer to only one significant figure. 22 has 2 significant figures, so we'll need to round it to 20 so that it only has 1. For another example, we can divide 12 by 1.222. So let's count our sig figs. For 12.0, 12, 1, 2, and the 0, because it comes after a decimal, are all significant, giving this 3 significant figures. And this number, 1.222, all 4 numbers are significant. So we have the 12.0 being the one that will determine how many sig figs our answer can have. When you do this math, you will get 9.81997, etc. We want to round that so that it has 3 significant figures. So since this, we start at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, so we'll want to round it to that place. Since this number is greater than 5, we will round it up to 9.82. And lastly, let's do one that's a little bit harder. We multiply 1200 times 0.0502. Mathematically, you get 60.24. So our first step will be to count the significant figures. This 1 is significant, this 2 is significant, but these zeros, because they come after all the other numbers but before a decimal, are not significant. So that means that 1200 has 2 significant figures. These zeros, because they're leading zeros, because they come before any other number, are not significant. But this 5, this 0, and this 2 are all significant. So this number has 3. That means our answer needs to be rounded to 2 significant figures, since the factor with the smallest number of significant figures had 2. But we can't just write 60, because 60 has only 1 significant figure. We can't write 60.2 because that has 3 significant figures. So what we need to do in this case to round this number to 2 significant figures is we need to use scientific notation. So we've kept the fact that there's 2 significant figures, we're writing a 6 and the 0.1 because those are both significant, and we've kept the fact that it is 60 and not 6.0 by adding in the scientific notation.